Guys, this is Grace and welcome to video number 2 for our Christmas Products Revisited series. So with this one, I am going to use the greens. I know that we have a lot of that when it comes to Christmas products, just because red and green is like the traditional colors. But this time I'm actually going to go with a more lucky or St. Patrick's type of feel to it. And so I'm going to use this cut file. Again, I got this one from the paper issue store, and it's just the word lucky, but just you can see you can fill in the inside of it with some pattern paper, and that's what I'm going to go with. That I'm just going to show you how I trace it and then maybe cut a couple of them and adhere them. I am using some liquid glue for this, some Tombow liquid glue, and it will make the process easy to do. So I've had this cut file for at least 2 years. My kind of way of playing with cut files is I just do mass cutting. Like I would pick some cut files that I want to use, and then I cut a bunch of them at one time, and that actually takes like it makes the process efficient because it's already cut when I use it. However, the problem that I've had is that I forget that I have them because I have a binder where I put the cut files, and so I forget that I have them, and so I don't ever use them because out of sight, out of mind. So the other day or right before I started making this series, I was going through them and I remembered all the cut files, and so I decided that I will use them up here so that I can use up the stuff that I've already cut, but at the same time make this process faster for me. So I'm just picking out a few of the papers that I pulled out, and then I'm going to fill in that piece. Now, as you can see, this lucky piece is vertical, and this will actually be kind of the starting point for the design for the rest of my layout, just because I needed to make sure that I have a space to fit this title in, and so the rest of the layout will automatically be or the rest of the papers on this layout will automatically be vertical, just so that I can fit that in. Now the orange one, I pulled that out from the orange in the shirt of my son. I felt like that is the only way that I can make sure that the photos blend with the background here, just because I am using kind of a monochromatic design for this layout of all the greens, so I needed to fill in an orange there so it'll match the photos. So a little bit about the photos. I am doing a single photo here. I rarely do a single, but this one called it's just the story, and I only had one photo, so I felt like it needed its own page. So the photo is of my son and a friend of mine, which she is when I started working about 2 years ago. I started my sub job. My youngest one wasn't in school yet, so of course, if I'm working, he needed to be somewhere, like a daycare or a preschool. Well, we didn't have a preschool option for him, and the preschool options are usually just half day, and so I decided to find a kind of a daycare babysitter type of situation, and I found this gal, and she's a member of our church, so I felt a little bit more comfortable that way because we share the same beliefs and same values. And it turns out that she was actually a sister of one of my older friends that have moved out of the city, and so that just made it more easy for me to trust to leave my son there. I don't know about you, but I've always stayed home with my kids, and so the issue of having a daycare has never really come up until with my third kid. And so I was very hesitant. Not that there's not good people out there, but you also hear of the bad stories of daycare and stuff. So I was very hesitant, but it turned out really great. She was a previous teacher, so she would incorporate some teaching during the day, and then she had some kids that are also staying at home, and so it worked out because he had the socialization that he needed, as well as kind of the preschool academic type that he also needed to get ready for school. So I was really, really grateful for her. And so I felt really lucky that we found her and that she was a very integral part of that year, or actually it wasn't a whole year, it was half of a year because I started working in January. And so that was our system, is that I will tell her when I'm working, and then I drop off my son at her house before I go and do my work, and then I just pick him up on my way back home. So now that all of the papers have been cut and the cut file has been backed, it's time to assemble the layout. I did trim those strips kind of in different sizes just to give it a little bit of interest, so that they're not all the same size, because then they're kind of predictable that way, right? If all of our strips are the same size, they're predictable and it doesn't land for an interesting design. So because again, the cut file is vertical, I needed everything to be vertical. And then I felt like the space under the photo was a little bit bland, like there's just white space. And so I decided to cut a couple of banners, again from green paper, and I'm going to put that under the photo. I did decide to mat my photo twice, and then I distressed the edges of the outside frame or outside matting, and then I also decided to adhere some fun foam to the back side of it so that it will stand out against all of the background. Now I pre-printed the journaling already on this one, and it's just basically the same thing that I've kind of said already about how lucky we feel that we found this lady that have taken or took care of my son for the time that I was working. And I'm just gonna put that right under the photo, but I will try to make sure that you will still see the cattails, I guess that's what you call them, of the banners that I made on the bottom of the layout. And the word lucky is already good. Like I feel like it's fine to have that title, but I felt like it needed to be a complete sentence. So I am going to finish off the title with the words "we are," and I'm just going to use these thickers. Initially I was thinking maybe I can use some green again so that it will stay monochromatic, but I like the copper color on here. It reminds me of the orange in my son's shirt, and so we're gonna go with that one. And now that basically my layout is done, I'm gonna go ahead and decorate. I pulled out some die cuts from my die cut book, and I try to find ones that are either green or has kind of that theme of home or daycare or something like that. And so I found this house that had a green color on there, and so I'm going to add that. And then I found this flower. Now it's not necessarily green, but it does have some green tones to it. I believe all of this is from a chili bean soup collection. And then I have this cactus that I am going to add as well. I decided to add that with some fun foam just because it's going to go next to the house, and the house has some fun foam on it or behind it. So that's basically my layout here. Like I said, this one mostly focuses on the green, and I really liked how this turned out, and I'm liking the layouts that I'm putting together from this series so far. I can't wait to show you the other 3 layouts. If you are new to my channel or you've stumbled upon my my page, and this is the first layout that you saw. I am doing a Christmas product revisit mini series. Basically what it is I create 5 layouts using some Christmas products, Christmas papers that I've had in my stash. I have my Christmas products all put together in one bag, and I've noticed that I have some products that are quite old, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and I needed to use them up before I go ahead and buy some new Christmas lines. And I'm sorry my head was in the way. I'm trying to make sure that I put the items that I had pulled out specifically where they need to be, and I had to put my head right on top of that. And I have this tag. I decided to, I was wanting to use it, but I felt like the lines were just a little too much. And then I have this tag, or label, I should say, and I just like the green part of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim that so you won't see the words, and I'm going to tuck that in just to add a little bit more interest and layers to the layout. And that is it. Thank you again for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and also click that bell button so that YouTube will notify you of my next layout. Until then, I will catch you guys another day. Bye.